This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, tablet, Xbox, games, or a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. Remember, current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% off almost everything. To browse the products and learn more about the discounts, you can go to f5live.tv/Microsoft. All right. It's been almost a year since it was announced, and people freaked out. It went away, and now it's coming back. Windows Recall is rolling out to insiders now to about the response that I think we all expected, which is not great. Lots of people are looking at it with concerns. Some are concerned about the storage that constant screenshots are going to take up on a computer that may not have a ton of storage. That is the least of the problems when you take into consideration things like the fact that it's going to be constantly taking contextual screenshots of your screen so it can, learn and remember the things that you did in the past to help you do things in the future and recover information that maybe your brain forgot. We talked about it a while ago, Avram. I'm going to say it again. Conceptually, I like the outcome, but I don't like the thing.
So, I don't know if this is when we were on hiatus, but I did a story back in, I think it was November, about uh, about recall, and I tested recall had come back to insiders then as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I tested its ability to. It's supposed to not take screenshots of like your critical information. So it's supposed to know when you're on a bank web page or when you're doing something with your social security number or,
Passwords, credit card numbers.
information, passwords, credit cards, the, the, the important stuff, right? It's supposed to not take screenshots of that. And I tested its ability to not take screenshots of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that if you are on a website that is blatantly like a bank website, it will not take a screen. It will not take a screenshot.
Okay.
Uh, but you could go into Notepad and type my social security number is this and or my password is that or my bank account number is X and it will still take a shot of that, right?
Okay.
Um, and you can go into things like PDFs where it asks for your social, like maybe you're filling out a PDF because you
Tax
have an
returns.
application for something, right? And it asks for your social security number. It's not smart enough to say like, oh, there's a field here that says social security number. Let me block this, right?
Gotcha.
Or at least it wasn't when I tested it. So so it worked on some blatant stuff where it wouldn't take the screenshots, but on a lot of other stuff, it would take the screenshots. So it seems like they almost kind of were like, oh, if you're a Bank of America person and you're on the Bank of America website, we know that's a bank. So I guess we shouldn't do this. But like, I don't know if they just hard coded a list of like websites and that are
Sure.
you know privacy blocked or what. So in other words, I wouldn't trust it to not
Yeah.
take screenshots of your important data. And really, maybe what we're asking of recall is too much, right? Because I mean, you critical data could be in any application at
Mm-hmm.
any time.
Yeah.
So and I'm not saying that like you should do this, but you know, what if what if someone IM'd you a password in Slack or something? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of opportunities for things to be captured.
Yeah.
So uh, so yeah, it's going to capture your critical data. It's that's going to be there, and then it's going to be accessible to um, if somebody gets it now. They seem to have encrypted the files. I'll give them that. Um, if somebody gets onto your computer though, and they can get access,
Mm-hmm.
remote desktop access to your computer, remote either remotely, either through remote or sitting right in front of your computer, this data will be all sitting there for them,
Yeah.
right? It's like a identity thieves. It's like a it's
Mm-hmm.
like if someone breaks into your house and you leave the jewelry like right in front of the door in a big gold box that says
Yeah.
jewelry here, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not even going to make it hard for them to find.
Right.
Um, so I, I don't trust it. I don't. I think I don't. I think the concept is fatally flawed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think like the the end result idea is theoretically fine, but I can't imagine a scenario where getting to it is safe. That
You
like for
know,
me that's the thing. I can't imagine a scenario in which you could build something to allow this cool capability of being able to rewind and find information you might have lost without that information having to exist somewhere outside of your brain, which then makes it a treasure trove for, the hi, this is uh Raul with Microsoft technical support. I need you to install TeamViewer on your computer, right? It
right?
it's like a treasure trove of chaos for you and data for them, especially
It
since it
also,
struggles to well, in the past it struggled to block out that sensitive data. Now they have said that they've kind of rewritten the the system that detects when it should redact information. Now again, does that mean it works? No. Uh, just means they rewrote it. You can rewrite it and make it worse. Um, so
I mean, I will. It's difficult. It's an annoyance to test because I can't test it on any of my regular computers that I use. I have to take one of the ARM computers that we have in the office. We have one just for this purpose, and then but I don't use it every day, so I have to run it through Windows Update for like 3 hours,
yeah,
and then do this on it, and then and then I can try again to see to prove that it's still going to not catch everything, right?
right, right.
Uh, Now, I would be curious if it's smart enough that if you put really blatant stuff there, like my social security type into a notepad doc, my social security number is this, is blank, and you put it in there, whether it whether it can read the screen and say, oh, I think there's a social security number here. Uh, but um, which would be artificial intelligence, right? Um,
Which is so they claim that it is now AI driven redaction.
okay, well, uh, I will look forward to trying uh, to bust it again and uh, see if how smart it is. But look, there's a lot of scenarios where like okay, where it may not be 100% obvious what is on the screen. So uh, you know, it's it seems really difficult, if not impossible, to block every scenario. But we actually have something. The other question is why you need recall when we have something that does what recall does without taking screenshots, and that's your browser history.
True enough.
I mean, your browser 99% of the time, if there's something that I didn't remember and I want to go back to it, it's something in my browser history, right? It's a web page that I went to. And so it's not like I need to remember that I typed something in Word. I need to remember that I sent an email, which I have because you have your sent emails. So what are you really missing? It's usually something from your browser history, and so I
And
do
that
wonder
exists.
about, and that exists, and that's searchable, and I'm not sure how like great the search is in terms of looking into the content of the pages um, that you visited, but like to me that seems like a much more like we have it's a solution that already exists, it, and seems to work pretty well. And the other thing I noticed about recall when I was using it is it doesn't capture everything you do. It captures every few minutes or whatever. So it could very easily miss if you were only doing something for a short time, it could very easily miss it,
Yeah, miss the thing
right?
that you actually wanted it to catch.
Whereas your browser history records everything. So every web page you've been to. So to me, it seems like your browser history is actually better than recall.
Yeah, it may not be. Browser history is not great at what you put into a form or something, which
Right.
recall could capture, but that's the chances of it capturing that are only as good as how frequently it's capturing data. So the chances of it missing that are still, you know, up there.
Yep. Uh, right. So I mean, the other thing that people really want, which I'm not sure if um, if it ever came out, is something that actually like records. Yes. So have you heard of Limitless and the Limitless pin?
Yes,
So like
I heard about it from
that's
you.
yes. So that's interesting, right? Because it goes into the real world and it records every real conversations that you had. Um, but so functionally, that could be very useful. Could be. Um, you, you had a conversation with your boss. They said something. You said something. Uh, now you have a definitive record. But um, the problem is that that's I think a horror for privacy. I don't think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people will consent. You you have to ask someone to consent to being recorded. I don't know how many people would consent to that.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, I haven't gotten the pin. I don't know if the pin is actually out yet. I guess some people have gotten it. Um, I don't know how good it is at like it's supposed to know if someone has given consent and then only record them if they've given consent. So like that's part of the AI too. I guess doing some kind of a voice recognition, like are you on the consent list or not? Um, so I don't know, but point is, I could see that more than I could see recall because you have there's a reason there could be a valid reason for you trying to sort of record real life. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, it also is kind of horrifying because once you start piecing together your whole life like that, it maybe there's something good about not remembering everything perfectly. Um, what was that episode, The Entire History of You, I think it was called, on Black Mirror,
I was
where the guy
just
had everyone had eye recorders.
I was just looking that up. It's literally what I've started searching.
Yes. So the guy had the eye recorder, right? And everybody had eye recorders and they could play back everything for everyone. And uh, I mean, I don't know, when you record everything, you reduce life to, I don't know, just what has been recorded, and it's never as good as interesting as you remember. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about it today though, because on the other hand, right, I was kind of sad today thinking about how, we had a holiday this weekend, and my father would, who we lost 5 years ago, would normally be there, and made me think that, like, I don't know if I actually have any recordings of my father's voice, right? I don't know if I have any, like, video of him.
Sure.
Um, I, and I don't know if I actually have any. Come to think of it, my mom, who's still with us, I don't know if I have any video of her. It just doesn't come up that we're like, yeah, let's get a video of you,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't know. Would I want to really sit around and watch a video of someone who passed? I don't know. I mean, maybe there's uh, if it were if I mean, my kids will always have this show.
Right. I was just thinking that there's hundreds of
Yeah,
hours of recordings of you.
right, right. You will always have this show, and they'll have other YouTube videos that I've done and stuff. They might be like, "Well, this isn't exactly what I wanted to watch," but you know, it. So it's hard hard to say, like, what is. How do you decide what's worth remembering? Do you remember everything? Is it, and when you do, does it just kind of feel minimized by the fact that it's out there rather than in here? So
Hmm.
uh, I don't know, but recall is not the like, they've identified a legit problem, but
Hmm.
their solution is worse than the problem.
Yeah, agreed. It opens up way too many new problems to solve something that is uh, it's
It's kind of already solved by your browser history.
yeah.
And I mean, yes, there's things that, like, online forums or whatever, but a lot of that is the stuff that you'd want to be private. So
Right.
it's probably, um, like, there's the amount of times where you really need it, and then that just finds you a screenshot, right? I mean, maybe someday it'll be able to give you a natural language answer, but right now it just shows you a screenshot. It
Right.
would be somewhat more interesting if it was like, oh, hey, how many hours was I playing this game? And it was like, you bozo, instead of working, you were playing this game for 5 hours or whatever,
Ah,
right? When
like
I was
the
chatting with my wife, did I promise to take out the groceries? You did indeed, 52 times.
see,
You know,
that's where the meta glasses or the unexpected return of Google Glass, which happened this week. Um, that was shocking. Anyway, that's where something like that comes in handy.
yeah, yeah. So I could see that there may be a time when even people's, like, private personal business becomes commoditized this way,
Hmm.
um, but this doesn't even do that.
Right. This just potentially exposes information when your computer inevitably gets accessed by somebody that shouldn't. And now gives them a new reason to want to. Hooray. No. None of it's good. In a completely unrelated, well, not entirely unrelated, I was thinking it might be fun to run some of these tests. How much would a Copilot PC cost? I ended up on Walmart, and they claim that the Surface Laptop Copilot PC edition has a 60-inch screen, which seems unlikely to me. Anyway, not what we're doing. Seems like a really large laptop. Inconvenient to try and put on your lap or carry around. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, recalls coming for those who it might or might not affect. The one thing that they have done that I appreciate is they've made it an opt-in feature instead of an opt-out, which was the original plan. So, thank goodness for that. But, yeah, all around, not for me. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.